sit that right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon' shake that, 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 shit, yeah, I like that, bring that right here, sit that right there, don't go.
Welcome back, we back with another reaction video. Today we're reacting to a Red Tree Stories video. Evil nurse is caught murdering. Oh Lord, it's caught murdering her patients. Um, you took an oath, right? Or do only doctors take the oath? I'm pretty sure medical professionals have to take an oath. So you taking the oath and you just saying, yeah, I don't care. It's ridiculous. Let's get right into it.
In 2008, two patients claimed that they saw 35-year-old nurse Kimberly Sayans draw bleach into a syringe and then inject the solution into the IV lines of two patients receiving dialysis. The patients immediately told the supervisor what they saw. Kimberly was sent home, and the supervisor called the police and told them what had happened.
So I went, and the first person I approached was Marlene Hamilton, and I grabbed a chair, sat down, got on her level, sat up close to her so I could have a private conversation and just reassure her what's going on, what can I do to help, and what do you need to tell me? I understand you're upset. Ms. Hamilton said, I cannot believe what I just saw. And I said, well, tell me what you saw earlier, what's going on. And she's like, I saw that nurse over there, the one with the ponytail and the one with Kim. I said, yes, sir, Miss Kim LVN. She says, yes. She goes, I saw her draw up some of that Clorox. She kept insisting that it was Clorox. I saw her drop that Clorox, and she went and injected it in that patient over there. And Miss Roan, I said, which one? She said, Miss Roan's chair, she got sick a while ago too. And it wasn't long after she injected that. And I said, okay.
Okay, that's
and she said, and then she
creepy.
went and she put it in that sharps container over there about the patient on the end. She didn't bring it, and maybe she walked over there and then she came back over here and she kept really looking around, acting like she was real nervous. And she didn't bring it over here, but she walked way back over there and put the sharps, put the needle in that container. I said, okay, we're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. She will not come take you off. I'll get someone else over here to take over this road. I said, are you okay? Yes, ma'am, I'm okay. I said, all right. So then I wheeled over and I talked to Linda Hall. Miss Hall, what's going on? What can I do? I understand you're upset. And she basically gave me the same story about Kim having a bleach container on the floor, and Kim drew up bleach from that container and stood up with a syringe right by her side and just kept looking around, watching. And I said, well, what was she watching for?
Why not somebody tackled this?
Just curious. And she said, well, she was waiting for Dale, who was my med nurse that day, to walk back from where he was at with Arlene, who was monitoring him. When he had left that area, that's when she had walked over to Miss Roan's area and actually had infused what she thought was bleach into the lines of the patient. And she gave the exact same story about how she came back over and was still hiding the syringe by her side, and then how she later had gone and disposed of the syringe in the sharps container. I reassured her as well, Kim will not be over here to take care of you. I will take care of this. You're going to be okay. Oh, and you're just not going to believe me. That's not the case. I do believe you, and I will investigate this. It's going to be okay.
Right.
So I quietly walked off. At the time, Kim was not on the floor. She was on break. And I went and spoke to Kim outside. And I just asked her, Kim, have you given any meds today? Left it open-ended. She told me she hadn't. And I said, well, did you mix the containers for your clamps and bleach racks? And she said, well, I went and drew up some syringes of bleach and I was mixing my containers. And I said, you drew up bleach and syringes to measure out your bleach? And she said, yes, I did. And I said, don't we use the cup? She's like, well, this is my first time. She goes, I had the container on the floor and I was just making sure I had it all done correct. And I was like, you had the container on the floor?
Miss what?
We never put our containers on the floor. And she's like, well, yeah, I did. I said, okay, we don't do it that way, and that's not the way we're supposed to. And I said, but you're not giving any meds? Nope, I haven't given any meds. I said, okay, all right. So I come back in and trying to decide, where to go, what to do, could I justify what's going on? Because this is totally inappropriate, totally awkward, not dialysis practices.
Not that I know about dialysis practices, but I would like to work for her though. I'm messing up, and you just immediately say, "Yeah, well, we don't do that," and you trying to justify it. But nigga, I would have fired your ass, reprimanded. Come to my office real quick. Like, nigga, you're getting packed up. No. She give her the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, well, we don't do that, I'm not telling you carry on, nigga.
So
I'll
in
carry
the
your ass to
meantime,
the
the bleach was
precinct.
still outside. I went and grabbed the sharps container that was at the end, and I took it to the lab, just to get it off the floor so I would have it. I spoke to Giselle Fournette and just told her to watch that sharps container, not to let anybody buy it. She said, okay. I knew that Kim was having a bad day from that morning, so I used that as my opportunity to go back and talk to her and just let her know that since you're having a bad day, to go home. When I was walking off the floor, I found Kim at the nurse's station around Yasmin's area. So I asked her to come where I was, and I just explained to her, you know, you're having a bad day. Things just haven't gone from you from the get-go. And so, you know, and she's like, well, now they're telling me that the patients are saying that I put medicine or I drew up something and put in one of the patients' thing, and I didn't do it. And I said, well, you know, that just means you're having even a worse day. So you know what, why don't you go into the house? Because I just, you know, you're having a bad day. We'll start again fresh in the morning, and we'll do that. And she's like, that sounds great. And so she left my building. From there, I proceeded on to where Giselle was guarding my sharps container, and I laid out blue pads,
Man, what the hell is
which
a
are
sharps
Chucky pads. They're
container? I
plastic on the
don't know.
bottom and cotton on top, so they're absorbent. And then I opened up the sharps container. Giselle had another sharps container with her that, from my knowledge, Yasmin had brought to her. So we opened up both the sharps containers in two different piles and poured them out. And there were several syringes
I know what they
in
are.
there.
I know what they are.
There were EPO syringes. There were fistula needles in there, and then there was a couple of 10 cc syringes.
It's a
There's
container
couple
to
that
hold
actually
sharp
had blood in them where
optics.
they actually pulled out when they're putting on a catheter patient. You have to pull back 3 cc's of blood before you hook them up to pull the heparin out. So anyway, so there's a couple of syringes. I went and got bleach residual strips, and it has a little pad on it that you actually put a solution on, and it'll change colors if there's bleach present. I tested a couple of the EPO syringes, and there was no bleach present. Then I found a syringe, one of the syringes that had the blood in it, and tested it, and there was no bleach present. There was another syringe that actually had a needle attached to it, which was very odd and different, and had the cap on it. I removed the cap, and I squeezed out some of the solution that was inside that syringe on the tip of that pad, and it changed to a dark purple, which is a very high positive measure of bleach. So being the person that I am, I'm like, well, and I've been bleaching the container, and it could have seeped through here. So the only other way to do it is to pull out the plunger, because nothing could have gotten inside the syringe. So I pulled the plunger out, and I took this test strip, another one, and placed it inside and put some of the solution that was there. And again, it turned positive immediately for bleach as well. There was one other syringe the same way. I tested it, and it was both syringe and inside positive for bleach. At this time, Linda Stevens is here with me. I had her as a witness, plus Giselle. Giselle tested several of her syringes in there. She also reported to me that she had 2 that were positive for bleach as well.
Since the day Kimberly began working at the dialysis center, 19 patients had passed away, according to the health inspector. This number was abnormally high, and an investigation had already begun, long before Kimberly had been caught injecting bleach into her patients. What was interesting is that all the patients that died had all been under the direct care of Kimberly. The detectives asked Kimberly to come in for an interview. They don't tell her what the interview is about, but Kimberly is already prepared, because she knew this day was coming. Without being asked, she brings up the mortality among the patients, how she gets confused easily, and how the bleach is used to clean the dialysis machines.
I don't know, these last months, I'm just scared to go to work, to be honest with you. Because they can't tell us what's going on, and I'm doing everything by the book, and I'm scared because I have a license, and I'm scared if I do something, then I've lost my license.
You should have been lost it.
You know, the anxiety in that clinic was just, and I don't know what it is. It's just, and I know we're all new, except for a couple of people. And I have noticed lately that there's been a lot of sloppiness. You get machine ready up, and that takes a good 15 minutes, and you know who your patient is, and you know where your graft is, and you get it all ready. And the dialyzer, it has Ritalin in it, and it's got to be circulated, you know, because if they get a Ritalin infusion, well, then they're off to the hospital. You know, it's like bleach. So
why was she?
We had that, and then we just had so many chest pains that I just don't understand. And they said we've had so many deaths in the past 7 months. I mean, April, and it's just scary, and I'm scared to leave my patients. You know, I'm just constantly, are you okay?
Your patients.
Are you okay? And so I'm really not sure what to do about it. I enjoy my job, and I only know I've been here 9 months, but you know, you either hate it or you like it. So, and if I can get,
she's a serial killer. She caught 19, not to be crass, but she caught 19 bodies in 9 months. Rest in peace to all our victims. This, what the, why? Why? Like, what if they could have made it through the dialysis? Like, what if they could have came out on the other side of the dialysis completely fine and healthy? Like, why are you doing this? Like, it makes more sense. Not to say it makes sense, but it's more understandable for me, at least, when it's somebody who's on hospice or something. Like, okay, I mean, they was already, you know what I'm saying? They was ready. They had the plans already set in place. They're on hospice, Monica. But you said, oh, dialysis. Here's bleach. Why? Why? What did they do to you? Why? I remember one lady said she was doing it to people because they were rude to her. I said, huh?
I have good patients that they come on, they're cheerful, they know they're here. They know they're here for, we're just trying to help them feel better. And it makes you feel better at the end of the day. But when you have codes after codes, it's just frustrating. And you're like, you lose your mindset of like, okay, where am I? Where do I group at? So, and I really thought that dialysis was what I wanted to do. But I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's in the water system. I don't know if it's in...
It's in you.
Checking on them.
Yeah, that's what they said. But I know that every day they have to do a police loop through the whole thing. And I'm just curious, what if our machines are hooked up and they have some bleach in them? I haven't researched into that, but I just have to wonder what kind of reactions would have happened if there was some bleach machines, not clear.
What?
I know you bleach them every week.
What do you mean you bleach them every week?
But on Thursdays, all the machines have to be hooked up to this big bleach bottle, and they have to go through, and they have to go for like 25 minutes. And when it's done, you take your bleach bottle out of it. And to me, when I get there in the morning, if I know it's Thursdays or bleach days, so when I get there in the morning, I just check. There's a little,
Is she there every Thursday?
spout thing, and you can spout it
That's
and
concerning.
check for chlorine. Because I just don't.
You just don't think they'd have got it out?
Well, I don't know. I just don't. I know they bleach the route of they bleach the loop, and maybe that comes all out. I don't know. I just have a habit of pushing the bleach because I don't know when it was last done, and I don't want to kill my patients.
You mean pushing bleach?
The bleach?
Yeah.
They put it in after the patient's gone, they're in these little Tyler cylinders, and you go back to your main screen and you go chemical, bleach, and it'll go through about 35 minutes. And then you're supposed to, there's a little drain thing on the side. You're supposed to squirt it for like a couple minutes, get your little bleach thing and make sure there's no bleach in there. You're supposed to have 2 people do it, just so you know there's no bleach in there.
Right.
And it seems like, and then it might not be my place to say, but
Go ahead and throw somebody
had
else under the
32
bus.
chairs, I believe, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people watching. I sit by my patients because I'm scared. I don't want my patients to go out. And it's my license on the line, it's not just a PCT, I have...
It appears that Kimberly knows they are onto her, so she does her best.
No, we have to X. You keep talking about a license. Ma'am, there are people losing their lives in your presence. Like, nigga, I don't give a about no license. I'm trying to get down to the root of the problem. Why are these people losing their lives when they interact with me? If I'm innocent, like, what are you talking about? A license? I don't give a about no license. 19 people. Hello? The fuck? License. The local license. What?
Best to prove she is innocent before she can even be accused. She explains the entire process of cleaning out the dialysis machines, while maintaining she does everything by the book because she fears losing her license.
But what hurts me the most is for 2 patients to accuse me of giving another patient's medication that was not ordered. And that's been something that's really irritated all day. I was just crying earlier, and I was like, I mean, it's my license. If I do something like that, I can't do something like that.
Talking about a
Did
license.
you give her medicine?
I did give her some saline, only because she said she was cramping.
That
Their
was
saline line, Angie wasn't there. So I charted that I gave her some saline line. Her pressure didn't really go down that much. And then she just said she felt kind of nauseated.
Okay. Did you work the whole day yesterday?
No, because what happened, and I'm really been upset about this, Miss Hall, she claims that I gave Miss Rome some medication. And she didn't want me to do anything to me today. And the only thing that I did was go over there and give her saline. And I know you're supposed to stay with your own 4 patients. And Angie was gone,
so I did.
and she was just moaning and groaning. Her blood pressure was down, so I gave her a little bit of saline, and I traded it. I charted it, and she just said, Miss Call said, what did you give to her?
I traded it for bleach.
And I said, I didn't give anything to her. I gave her saline. Her blood pressure's dropping. And then it wasn't long. She had Miss Hamilton sitting right beside her. And she was like, did you see her give her something? And it was very frustrating because I wanted to go back to them too and say, what did you give? What did you see me give? Because all I did yesterday was get my patients set up, deal with the meds. I didn't do any meds. And I guess my patients, they come here and they want to be dialyzed and they want to get out, and I don't know what's going on here. And it's just scary. And if I'm doing something wrong, I want to know that I'm doing something wrong because I don't want to kill somebody. I mean, I know it's dialysis. It happens all over the country. And I just don't understand what's going on.
What do you mean it's dialysis? It happens all over the country.
Well, I guess maybe not all over the country,
I mean, there's
but
dialysis centers
there's,
everywhere in America. What?
Amy told me the other day, she goes, girls, this is dialysis. There's so many places around here, and it goes smooth.
It's like
So I wonder, what are we doing wrong?
around where I'm at.
Kimberly explains that she wants to know why so many patients are dying. The detectives decide it's time to bring up the bleach, so they ask Kimberly how the bleach is used to clean the machines.
Can you tell us anything about the bleaching procedures?
Bleaching
Y'all have a-
procedures. We are supposed to, after we get well, some people do it before. You get there's 2 things in bleach back there, and it's either before or after. But you have to get your bleach bowl, and you have to get like a little medicine cup. And you gotta go all the way back there, and you gotta get that. And you pour it in your bowl.
Okay. Would there be a cause or a reason or necessity or anything like that for anyone to use a syringe to draw bleach up into?
No,
Do you use a syringe to pull your 10 cc's of bleach up?
sometimes I do when I can't find the little medicine cups. They used to be in that top drawer. There weren't any in there. So I knew 10 C's would make that. But I did it at the back. I did it at the
Ever
back
use
where there was
a syringe for
blood.
bleach measuring?
Because we weren't supposed to do it up here. And you just get a little 2 ml cup, you fill it with bleach, and then you put 1/1000 bleach in there, and then you put your clean clamps in there.
When you use a syringe to draw up the bleach before you make your mixture up, what happens to that syringe?
I dispose of it?
If you use
Oh, well.
if you use a syringe, they actually have little cups to monitor them.
See,
There
why
wasn't
are you
any
trying to
cups
throw me
up
off the
there that
scent?
day.
What are you
But
talking
if you
about?
use
Shut
a
up.
syringe, 10 cc's, then you're gonna have to, put it in the receptacle.
Okay, did you do that
Did you do
yesterday
that?
at all? Did you draw any bleach up in a syringe?
I drew, I had 2 that I went back there for.
You used a syringe to put the bleach in there?
I mean, she's
your water.
also going to jail, but
With my water?
fire her.
You mean on the clean bleach? No.
Yeah.
Especially after I told you we don't do
See,
that.
I didn't have those 2 mLs. So I went to the back and I got a 10 cc syringe because I couldn't find any more of those little yellow things. And I pulled up my 10 cc syringe and I dumped it out. And I discarded the 10 cc syringe because we were out of those little cuppy things.
How many different syringes did you use? Did you use one for both solutions, or you know what I'm saying?
All of the
Did you
syringes.
draw your bleach up, put it in the solution, draw more bleach up in the same syringe, and put it in the other, in your clamp clean cup?
No, I had two.
Were you near any patients when all this happened?
They were on the machines.
Did you ever go over to any patients with any
answer your grandma.
syringes in your hands?
No.
While you were adjusting the saline over their seat, you know, just checking on them or anything like that, did you ever have any syringes in your hand or?
No, because I wasn't doing meds that day.
We're all trying to figure out, you know, why there's been this sudden spike in events, you know, over the past month or so. Do you have any theories or any ideas what's causing all this?
Well, I know I'm new. I've only been here 8 months.
I thought it was
But
9 months.
I just wonder about the blood pressures, you know, when they come in and they're
Crazy work,
really
right?
high. I get so scared they're going to stroke out. It's just scary. I didn't know dialysis was going to be like this.
So why would you sign up for this?
You know, the first few
Also,
weeks, it seemed to go okay. You might have a bleed or two, but having triage every day, it's just, and I keep going over and over in my head, my books, and trying to figure out what have I done wrong.
Of the 5 patients who had died over the previous month, prosecution was able to prove that Kimberly had direct contact with all of them. They also showed the jury that Kimberly had Googled bleach poisoning and whether or not bleach could be detected in dialysis lines. This evidence, along with a co-worker's testimony stating that Kimberly hated her job and was very aggressive towards her patients, was enough for the jury to convict her of 5 counts of murder. Kimberly was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
You've never given an interview. You didn't testify in your trial. People who know about your
She took 5 people off the map. So I exaggerated a little bit. I thought it was 19. I don't know why I said 19. I guess 19 people had lost their life in the past, whatever. And then it just so happened 5 of them cross-matched with when she was doing work. So therefore, ergo, come here. But I'm not understanding why. Like, why even sign up for the job if you don't want to do it? Well, it's kind of how the world works. Like, nigga, if the money talking, we're going.
case will have ever heard you speak, really. Why are you doing this?
There's just a lot of things that was never said, and I believe it's time to speak out. I found myself working at a dialysis clinic that was more about money than they were about the lives of their patients. I was falsely accused of something, and that's why I'm here today.
Oh my God. You tell him you flew Piers Morgan out to the States to tell us this bullshit. And my friend dialysis clinic didn't care about the patients. Nigga, you didn't care about your... You got 5 people. What are you talking about? What is she talking about? What? Am I missing something? Did she not get convicted for taking 5 people off the map? What does she mean they didn't care about their patients? You! Hell? Is she trying to gaslight me?
I know that I didn't do anything that would have done anything to harm another patient.
This wasn't going on before you got there,
gaslighting us.
and it hasn't gone on since you left. I mean, the chances of 1 patient dying of cardiac arrest, about 7 in 100,000, but the odds of 2 patients dying that close to each other was described as astronomical.
Well, and I would probably agree if I knew the statistics.
But why do you think it was all happening once you joined?
Well, no, I never put 2 and 2 together like that.
But it came up in court that you told staff you didn't like the patients, which you had been charged with helping.
That's silly. I would never say something like that.
But why would these 2 patients invent the fact they'd seen you?
Well, first of all, neither one of them could see. I did draw it up, but I was making it for a cleaning solution. I wasn't making it to go kill somebody.
But they're all lying, all these people.
Yes.
But why would you be asking, can bleach be detected in dialysis lines?
I've always thought it was the water system. I do know that the water treatment system, how it wasn't cleaning all the chlorine out of the lines.
It's either the water, which nobody believes apart from you and a few people, or it's you, only person that could possibly have been, because you were the only one around these machines in every single case, was you.
That's not true.
And the common theme of all of it, in the end, is you. Why did you do it?
I didn't. And why would I? I had nothing against any of those people.
Ma'am, you are better off doing this in court. Piers Morgan is cooking your ass Worse than a damn prosecution would. What the are you talking about? Like, bro, he's just making you sound dumbest in a British accent, making you sound dumbest.
Sometimes the easier thing is just to admit it.
You know what I mean?
That's the path to atonement. And maybe you're in denial to yourself. You and I know you did this.
No, I did not. That don't even make sense.
It does make sense.
I really thought you were going to help me.
Help you what?
Help me to get the truth out. Thanks a lot.
I think we did get the truth out.
I guess he got in your pockets too.
I just think you're guilty. I'm sorry.
Okay. Guilty for killing people for no reason. That makes a lot of sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Some investigators believe that Kimberly killed over 15 patients during her time at the...
Oh my God. I'm dumbass thinking it's 19 initially, then talking myself down to, oh, yeah, it's only 5 because that's the ones they connected her to. And the detectives believe that it's got 15 bangs. What the fuck is going on? How many people's grandparents did you take off the map? Uncles, nephews, nieces, like mothers, fathers, like what the is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What the
at the dialysis center. However, this isn't the first medical facility she has worked for. Kimberly had been fired by previous employers, who stated in her termination letters that she was not to be rehired under any circumstances. What are your thoughts on this case? Why do you think Kimberly...
Oh God, oh God. So, clearly the place that she went to has the worst background check system in American history. That's their only way we are getting there. There's no way previous employers fired her, then proceeded to say she should never work for a dialysis center. She still has her license, and then was allowed to work at another dialysis center. There's a problem there. There's a problem here. She's insane. She's deranged. Pierce, good job. You were cooking. I don't want to know anything about her nor her mentality. I pray to never ever interact with anybody who has this mentality. For the love of God. She's scary. She needs help. What do you mean, get the truth out? What do you mean, conspiracy? Only conspiracy is how many times you hit with a bleach syringe. What the are you talking about? Get her out of here. Send her to Valhalla. Send her to Valhalla. That's the end of the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share the video. My bad. Share your thoughts on the video in the comment section below. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date when I drop videos on this channel. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Stay safe, y'all.
Would you take this dance from? Look, baby, you got your man set. You ever stumble about a set? She got my hand, we doing spins in the sand. Got me in the trance, moves way too advanced. I'm a novice in this dance, nigga. You got